Hello and welcome everyone to this new episode of TechMantra with Rohan and Sultan. I'm joined here with my co-host Sultan. Hello Sultan.
Hey Rohan, good to be here.
So Sultan, continuing on our security theme today, we are going to talk about secure web gateway. We'll discuss how it works, what's its important, what are the key features it supports, and how it fits into the overall modern security architecture.
Indeed, Rohan, and security is top of mind concern, right? But let's just quickly take a pause and take a stand back for our audiences.
Okay.
When we look at today's corporate enterprise environment, we have users who are accessing data from everywhere and anywhere. Their applications, they're no longer just working in the campus on premise. They are working from branch locations, remote locations, whether it's their home, change of scenery, wherever they might be. The current environment we're in also has forced people to work remotely. But we live in a very mobile world today, which means that people are connecting and accessing to their work, to their applications from their laptops, their smartphones, their portable internet connected devices. And now these apps that they're connecting to or trying to access are not just in the enterprise data center. They are in the cloud. Right? The cloud is getting more and more consumption. Enterprises are connecting more and more to the cloud. But with that wonderful experience of the cloud comes challenges. One of them, security. And when we talk about security, we're talking about cyber threats and security attacks that are more sophisticated than ever and growing, especially as enterprises continue to engage with cloud. And it's very important that enterprises think about how they are going to address their security posture, mainly because they want to ensure the traffic that's going in and out of their organization is secure and safe.
And when you talk about cloud, it's just not just one cloud. We are talking about private, public cloud, multi-cloud. But in that spirit, let's double click on what is secure web gateway, what it does. So a secure web gateway prevents user from accessing malicious website traffic on the internet and in the cloud that could infect your own device or the endpoint and compromise your internal enterprise network. At the same time, very important, it also ensures that the users who are accessing the internet, they are in compliance. So it enforces that enterprise compliance. Now, different from a traditional firewall, a secure web gateway focuses on the application layer. It understands all the details of the protocols and the session rather than focusing on the package and the header.
Exactly. We're moving more to an application-oriented world versus just a network-oriented world. And yes, Rohan, talking about your point about secure web gateway and what it's doing, reality is when we connect today, we're going to some website. We're going to some web page, some kind of URL connection. And the reality is that a lot of fraudulent, fake websites are out there. And these websites, they seem to be authentic. They are luring users to come and enter personal information, whether it's credit card or personal identification like social security numbers. Other websites are even just saying, once you connect to my website, they've opened that back door and they're just bypassing any web browser controls. They're injecting malicious code, viruses into that user network. Now, as an example, fake shopping sites that are representing, well-known brand names, or sites that appear to be legitimate government agencies, or even business-to-business intranets. And so when I hear what you're saying about the secure web gateway, what secure web gateways bring in terms of value is as enterprises are connecting to the cloud, they're ensuring that any and all data that's flowing in and out of that organization, they're able to detect and prevent any kind of data that needs to be restricted and blocked from leaving the organization.
Absolutely. Data in and out, and at the same time enforcing enterprise regulation policies. So let's talk about the secure web gateway. How does that work? Secure web gateways, they are installed as a software component or as hardware devices on the edge of the network or at the user endpoint. So all that traffic to and from the user to the other network must pass through this gateway, through this checkpoint, through the secure web gateway that's going to monitor it. So this gateway is going to monitor any traffic for malicious code, web application use, or all user, non-user attempted URL connections. So the gateway checks or filters URL website addresses. So it maintains a database of known good sites and blacklist sites where it wants to block all that traffic which is going in and out. Additionally, at the same time, data flowing out of the network can also be checked, disallowing restricted data sources, data on the network or the user devices that is prohibited from the distribution, which is enforced from the enterprise. For instance, any Office 365 document which is kind of marked as sensitive, you can't just copy it out to your personal email. And while some enterprises deploy secure web gateway as hardware appliances, many organizations are using the cloud-based approach, the SaaS, software as a service, because they are more flexible, less costly to deploy, the solution to deploy, and at the same time to maintain. So organizations with existing hardware investments often combine these two approach, the hardware approach and the software approach. Maybe hardware at their larger physical locations, like a regional branch site or a data center, or a cloud-based gateway for remote locations or traveling worker.
It's a great point. And I mean, you can't ignore the cost factor, but also to your point, you get certain performance advantages with the hardware-based solution. The point is that you have that flexibility, right? So building on that, Rohan, let's discuss what some of the key features are of that secure web gateway. Because I agree with you, the flow of information today, we tend to take that for granted. And it's become even more imperative not just to block what's coming in from the outside, but what by even in a mistake, what may get leaked from the inside out. So when we think about the secure web gateway, we're saying this is beyond just basic URL, web application control, things like data filtering. The secure web gateway should provide additional controls and features that enhances the network security. What are those features? First and foremost, we need to think about things like encrypted traffic analysis. So traffic can be encrypted, but we need to know whether it's still good data or bad data. And we need to be able to look at things like global threat lists, ensure that reputation sources are taken into consideration. We need to analyze the nature of the traffic itself to determine if any of the content is, contains bad code or poses any threat to the network. This should also include things like secure sockets layer, or what we call SSL based encrypted traffic. Data loss prevention, right? The fact that documents that are sensitive, we want to make sure they're not inadvertently leaked, sent to the wrong place. We want to be able to scan for sensitivity and then make sure that before anything is uploaded to anywhere, we verify that this is safe to go out. Social media protection. I mean, we're surrounded by social media, good and bad. But from a company, an enterprise's perspective, their reputation, you want to make sure all that information is being scanned and filtered. Support for different protocols, HTTP, HTTPS, and FTP. While HTTPS is the industry standard today, many sites are still supporting HTTP and FTP. So we need to make sure that this secure web gateway is looking at any and all protocols, making sure that we're not missing anything. Integration with anti-malware solutions. Why? Threats will be discovered. Integration with these anti-malware solutions will give the enterprise the ability to detect never seen before threats, but also to make sure that we're constantly taking preventive steps, but we're also remediating automatically. Finally, security monitoring. Security is only as good as what you're looking at, what you're seeing. And we need to make sure that these security web gateways are interacting with strong security monitoring solutions like SIEMs, your security information and event management solutions. And lastly, the flexibility to place this secure web gateway becomes very important as a feature. Why? Whether it's being put at the edge, at the endpoints, or even in the cloud, that flexibility gives you the ability to say, I can deploy this where and when and how I need it.
So let's discuss how these security gateways fit into the modern security architecture. The fact is that to get the maximum value, enterprises needs to consider an integrated security approach, security architecture. We are seeing secure web gateways are merged with cloud access security brokers, CASP, to provide a stronger, more efficient security posture. Let me just give you an example. So, as an enterprise user accesses Salesforce or Office 365 documents, so any transmission of data to these applications can be scanned for malicious code, compared against users' enterprise security policy so that the compliance can be enforced. And this can help ensure that the data sent is compliant and within the enterprise organization security policy rules.
You know, I hear you saying compliance.
Compliance.
I hear you saying policies. This is really what it's all about. This is what's different today with the world of cloud than what we did in the past with the on-prem environment. And I can't agree more with you. And building on what you're saying, I think, Rohan, as more and more data is sent to and from the cloud applications, it's natural evolution that these web gateways merging with CASB is going to accelerate. But really the message here to our audience is what? It's that these functions all bring value, but when they're looked at in a siloed environment versus as an integrated security stack, that's where you begin to realize how you are going to get the maximum benefit of these security elements and the security that they provide you. And really that's the message here, is that you want that integrated security stack. You want that consolidated, integrated environment. And that's what these web gateways can do for you as you integrate all these functions together.
Yes, I'm going to pick on that consolidation keyword out here because it's very important for secure web gateway. These secure web gateways, they are serving as a point of consolidation, funneling user sessions through a consolidated security environment. So, and secure web gateway, it's going to terminate sessions with web traffic and perform all that security inspection on their content. And these checks, like you mentioned, includes SSL inspection, intrusion detection prevention, antivirus, anti-malware scan, URL filtering, DLP, the list goes on. And any problem sessions, they can be terminated right away there, or they can be sandboxed offline for further investigation.
Exactly.
And for valid traffic, it then proxies the session to its final destination. Folks, hope you have enjoyed this episode of Rohan and Sultan's Tech Mantra and hope you have a better understanding of secure web gateway, its importance, and the key benefits. We look forward to connecting with you soon in a new episode. Till then, take care and thank you.